Hey, welcome back to LWN Network, everybody. I am Tammy Nation here today on this Tuesday, March 4th, 2025, with another headline hits show for you. We've got a lot of exciting headlines to cover, but the best part is stick around to the end because I have a fun little announcement for this evening that you guys don't want to miss. So there's been a lot going on in the news. The news is nothing short of continuous, ever-changing, and constantly putting things out there, whether it's World War III possibilities or it's the different things that are being done to tear apart the three-letter agencies and the different corruption out there. So let's go ahead and head into these headlines and see what we have today. The first article is going to talk about Zelenskyy. He speaks out about the continuing battle between Ukraine and Russia. And boy, Trump has something to say about that. So Zelenskyy had stated a deal to end the war between Ukraine and Russia is still very, very far away. And he expects to keep receiving American support despite the recent fight in relations and tensions between Trump and him in that meeting. So here he is stating out there publicly recently that he still expects to receive our support. And I don't know about you guys, but I think we've done enough. He said, I think our relationship with the U.S. will continue because it's more than an occasional relationship, referring to Washington's support for the past 3 years of war. Zelenskyy stated, I believe that Ukraine has a strong enough partnership with the United States of America to keep aid flowing. He said at a briefing in Ukrainian before leaving London. So Zelenskyy publicly was upbeat recent diplomatic upheaval between Western countries that have been helping Ukraine with military hardware and financial aid. The turn of events is unwelcome for Ukraine, whose understrength army is having a hard time keeping up with a bigger Russian force at bay. And you guys know what Trump had said, without us, he doesn't have much. And Trump did respond to this statement that he was making all across the airwaves recently. He said, this is the worst statement that could have been made by Zelenskyy, and America will not put up with it for much longer. It is what I was saying. This guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as he has America's backing and Europe. In the meeting they had with Zelenskyy, it was stated flatly that they cannot do the job without USA. Probably not a great statement to have been made in terms of a show of strength against Russia. He said, Trump, what are they thinking? Also, recently, all military aid to Ukraine has been paused until Trump determines the Ukrainians show a commitment of good faith peace. Good for Trump for doing this. According to a senior Trump administration telling Fox, it is not a permanent pause. It goes in effect immediately due to Zelensky's conduct over the last week and words over the weekend. President Trump said he needs a direct apology via phone call from Zelenskyy. And Trump said like he said all along, he wants peace and an immediate ceasefire from Ukraine. But so far, Zelenskyy has ignored that request. So he's still not making very good moves and he's not speaking very well. So we'll have to see what the next stage of this brings towards us. The next story we have is the Senate confirmed former World Wrestling Entertainment WWE CEO Linda McMahon to serve as President Trump's Secretary of Education, heading the department he intends to close immediately. The Senate held a full floor vote on Monday evening, confirming McMahon 51-45 along party lines. McMahon, who co-founded WWE with her husband Vince McMahon, has served as administrator of the Small Business Administration during Trump's first term, but exited her post early to return to the private sector in 2019. The Senate did hold a full floor vote on whether to confirm her or not to serve as Secretary of Education. In November, the president did tap her to serve in another top post during his second term, but this time he said he wanted her to put herself out of a job. It is a big con job, the president said of the Education Department. They ranked the top countries in the world. And guess what, you guys? We are ranked number 40, but we're ranked number 1 in the one department, cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, but we're ranked number 40. That makes 0 sense at all. In a letter to Democratic members of the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, McMahon said that she wholeheartedly agreed with Trump's plan to abolish the department and that President Trump believes that bureaucracy in Washington should be abolished so that we can return to education to the states where it belongs. I wholeheartedly support and agree with this mission. And in her opening remarks of her confirmation hearing, she stated that many Americans today are experiencing a system in decline, but that the opportunity before us these next 4 years is momentous. So this is going to be interesting to see how quickly she can put herself out of a job. The next story is additional $100 billion being invested by the U.S. or to the U.S. by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. President Donald Trump announced yesterday as he appeared with the company's head at the White House, TSMC is the world's largest, biggest semiconductor manufacturer that produces advanced chips for artificial intelligence, automobiles, and phones. It is expected to bring 20,000 to 25,000 high-paying jobs to the United States. TSMC will manufacture the most powerful AI chips in the world in America, according to Trump. The Taiwan chip company plans to build 5 cutting-edge fabrication facilities to the states, but mostly in Arizona. And remember, the company has already announced plans to invest more than $65 billion in the U.S., including the 3 plants in Arizona. Its first factory in Arizona has started mass production of its 4 nanometer chips. This is a tremendous move by the most powerful company in the world, Trump said, standing next to TSMC's Chief Executive Officer, C.C. Wee. It is a matter of economic security. I agree with him to that. Bring it all here. Let us do this. Let no other country be ahead of us. Let's lead the stampede for this. And then story number 4 is about Hillary Clinton. If you guys haven't heard from her much, well, you were lucky because now she's reared her ugly head and attacked Pete Hegseth by posting on her X account. She said, "Wouldn't want to hurt Putin's feelings," Clinton posted on X over the weekend, along with a Gizmodo headline that read, "Trump's Defense Secretary Hegseth orders Cyber Command to stand down on all Russian operations." Conservatives on social media immediately praised Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth after he responded to an attack from former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton with a photo that was seen over 2 million times on X. Hegseth responded to the post with a photo of Clinton smiling with Russian Foreign Affairs Minister Sergei Lavrov in March of 2009, which the two are holding a reset button that was meant to symbolize a reset of relations between the two countries. You guys, you gotta love when their hypocrisy gets exposed. She is one to speak about hurting feelings of foreign leaders, and the only feelings she liked to hurt are the American people who support Trump. Remember, she called us deplorables. So I say, lady, you need to sit down and be quiet. And then this is very disappointing. Unfortunately, yesterday, every Democrat voted against the Senate bid to prevent boys from playing in girls' sports. Can you believe this? The bill was introduced by GOP Senator Tommy Tuberville and has over 40 co-sponsors in the Senate. The bill failed to overcome the legislative filibuster last night as it did not reach the necessary 60-vote threshold to advance. The vote went along with party lines 51 to 45. And this bill, if you haven't known, has been in years in the making. And the senator did introduce this bill during the Biden administration as well. The bill would also ban federal funding from going towards sports programs that allow biological men to participate in women's and girls' sports. U.S. Senator John Fetterman stated, "The small handful of trans athletes in Pennsylvania in a political maelstrom deserve an ally, and I am one." And my opinion is, no matter a handful or more, it's still crushing to those women who have been brutalized by trans men to playing in women's sports against them in their very own sport. We have all seen the stories and videos of the physical damages women have experienced and faced from these men playing in the sports. I will say this, that to me, the weakest of men compete with girls and the weakest of minds celebrate it. Next up, First Lady Melania Trump held a roundtable yesterday with Senator Ted Cruz in support of a bill which combats the use of AI to deceptively place people into pornographic content. It is called Take It Down. The First Lady expressed disappointment that more Democrats didn't show up to the roundtable in support of the bill and stated, "Surely, as adults, we can prioritize America's children ahead of partisan politics." There were also 2 young adult women there sharing their stories of how they were brutalized online over fake nude photos someone made and shared across social media of them, the emotional damage they experienced, and how wrong it is for someone to take an innocent photo off a social media page and add their face or head to any kind of nude body and turn it into something that causes so much damage to the person they picked to throw a face on an AI-generated body. So they took innocent photos of these young women, and through their experience, they put them on fake bodies, and it just caused all kinds of problems. It was a very moving moment to listen to what they experienced. And I agree. The Dems should put all politics aside and support Take It Down. Because why? Who would support bullying and all this kind of bad things that go on against minor children with nudity? We see that left and over again, and everything and all their policies, they support it. But children are innocent, and it just is so disturbing that they didn't show up to support this bill. But I guess it's to be expected with their mindset. Next up, a U.S.-Mexico border list came out from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection data showing the number of encounters happening last month under Trump in office. A total for February of this year of U.S.-Mexico borders was 8,326. Now look at the numbers in comparison to Biden. In 2024, he had 189,913. In 2022, 100,056,630 encounters, and in 2022, 166,010. So Trump's numbers from the last month are the lowest level we have seen in roughly 25 years from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection data, and that is good news. Also exciting news, President Trump on his social media platforms, that the Treasury Department has announced that they are suspending all enforcement of the outrageous and invasive BOI, beneficial ownership information, reporting requirements for U.S. citizens. This Biden rule has been an absolute disaster for small businesses nationwide. Furthermore, Treasury is now finalizing an emergency regulation to formally suspend this rule for American businesses. The economic menace of BOI reporting will soon be no more. And this rule identified information about individuals who directly or indirectly own or control a company. So amen to that. Another bad rule through the Biden administration being knocked out for the independent people owning businesses. And hallelujah to that. Now, this is the big one, the fun one, you guys. You want to head on to LWN Network and all of our social medias at tonight for 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join LWNI, possibly Jeff B. He's planning on joining us live tonight as well. And what we're going to do is cover President Trump's joint session of Congress. The president's going to give his first major speech since returning to the White House in January. And it's an opportunity for the president to lay out his agenda and talk about key policy objectives regarding his America First vision for our legislative future. It'll probably include things like DOGE, wars, tariffs, and what we have to do to accomplish fixing the things that are broken and hurting everyone in this country and across the world. So Trump did state that tonight will be big, and he's going to tell it like it is. And I think it could be a fiery little session tonight because Democrats have invited several workers who were fired by President Trump and the mass purge of the federal government to attend in attempt to embarrass Trump over the assault on the federal bureaucracy. So we're going to see, and I'm looking forward to covering this live as we share our thoughts. You share our thoughts with us together. So see you at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on LWN Network, Facebook, and Rumble, you guys. and it ought to be interesting and it ought to be fun. And we really look forward to talking to you guys. Like I said, it's going to be LW and I, and Jeff B plans on making it too as well. So we hope that comes true. And in the meantime, that's your headline hits for Tuesday. Nothing, I could have went on for another hour or so, you guys, because there's so much out there. But keep your faith high and keep optimistic, because I believe even though a lot of people are not liking and agreeing with what's being done and how it's being done, sometimes you got to tear it apart to the ground and rebuild it from a nice solid foundation. And I believe that is what this Trump administration is doing. And I'm looking forward to each and every day as we wake up and see what new things have been developing across this great country of ours as we get this country back. So take care. God bless. And I will see you guys tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye.